Hi, everybody, and welcome to Unified, a podcast feed from First Church Belmont Unitarian Universalist. We'll be sharing sermons and stories, especially thematic content made new every week. We're so glad you're here, and for more information about who we are and opportunities to grow and deepen, swing by the church on Sundays or check out our website at uubelmont.org. And for now, enjoy this new content.
Thank you so much, Sky and Emily, for such a powerful reflection and for the good work that you both are doing to make sure that people have safe homes in our community. We're really grateful to have you here this morning and for guiding us in this work. One of our deeply held Unitarian Universalist values is about listening to and respecting the wisdom and the power of our young people. Sky and Emily have so articulatedly and clearly told us, not me, exactly what this moment looks like in our community and what is facing us. For me, as a Unitarian Universalist religious educator, I feel so fortunate to get to learn so much from our children and our young people. I served as the director of religious education at our neighboring congregation in Malden, Massachusetts for 4 years. I had a child in my program, and I remember once this child traveled to a place where he saw visible, unhoused people for the first time in his life. And he came back very disrupted and upset. He talked to me about this every single time I saw him. How could this happen? How could this be? He was completely distraught. How have we let it go on this long, he told me. A grown-up in his community said, well, he's just upset because he's learning about this for the first time. And he could not understand why everyone wasn't outraged all the time. This child was right, and as are Sky and Emily. He started drawing cartoons and selling them in coffee hour, raising money for the warming shelter in Malden. And I was so moved and so reminded by the passion and conviction of this 6-year-old, his moral clarity, the wisdom in learning about this for the first time and thinking, how in the world is anyone just walking around like this is okay? In our heavy and heartbroken world, it is easy to become desensitized to suffering. Sometimes we feel we need to turn away from pain because if we allow ourselves to really feel it, we will become overwhelmed. I know that this is true for me. I turn off the news a lot more these days. I am fearful that if I become overwhelmed, if the suffering feels like too much, then I become desensitized and I walk away. I stop doing my part in what is to come and how we heal that future together. That might be true. And so one of our tasks as a people is to remain as open-hearted as we can in the face of suffering without taking it on as our own or allowing it to overwhelm us. This is no easy project. But there are a few tools that I have learned that help me in that project of staying open-hearted in the face of suffering without allowing it to become my own. It is true that each of us alone cannot fix the country's housing crisis. In fact, as many as we are, even here in this room together, we cannot end the country's housing crisis. But Sky and Emily are right that there are small, crucial, important things that we can do, and they start with our values. Our Unitarian Universalist values and heritage call us to honor the inherent worth and dignity of every person. We affirm in our community that no person is worth more or less than any other person because of who they are or what they have done or where they live or don't live or how the dice has rolled for them. There is nothing you can do to lose your dignity. Incarnate, migrant, refugee, infinite dignity. Because that is true, here on earth we are tasked with doing everything we can to honor that dignity, which is not always easy. A few years ago, I received a call from a friend of mine who works as an affordable housing policy director at a neighboring community to ours, and he was working on an incredibly difficult case. There was a person in that community who was being evicted and was squatting illegally, and my friend and his team were trying to do everything possible to help this man get into shelter. But the man was putting up some barriers to the process and being fairly difficult. Eventually, my friend learned that this man believed some truly awful and hateful and bigoted things about others. This was not a person who shared the values of peace and equity that are important to us. He had done some horrible things in his life. My friend called me, head in his hands, so frustrated, and he said, "I don't know if I can do this. This man has said and done such horrible things. I'm so angry at him. He doesn't deserve my help. He doesn't even deserve a home." And he sat for a moment more, and then he said softly, "I am a Unitarian Universalist, dang it." Unfortunately, I believe so deeply in the inherent worth and dignity of every person, even this man who I am so mad at. Of course, he deserves shelter. Of course, he deserves a home. Everyone does. And he picked himself back up, and he kept fighting for this man's right to home, even if he really did not want to. Our values at times are not easy to hold. But we know that those values are guiding us towards a better and kinder and gentler world, a place where everyone has what they need to thrive, including home. And these values call us to a ministry of radical imagination. This is one of the tools that helps me to not become overwhelmed. Last week, Reverend Chris talked about a moral imagination, a moral imagining of how we are called. We seek to live in a world of justice, equity, and peace, but because we don't quite have it, we are tasked with dreaming it into being. Max Haven writes, "Our current system relies on each of us imagining ourselves as essentially isolated, lonely, competitive agents. It relies on us imagining that the system is the natural expression of human nature, or that it is too powerful to be changed, or that no system could even be desirable. The system that allows some people access to homes and others no homes is one that it requires us to imagine that it is the only thing possible. People on the streets, just an inevitable byproduct of a naturally occurring system. This is not true. But how do we get out? Max Havens continues, "Radical imagination is about bringing possibilities back from the future to the present to inspire action and new forms of solidarity today." Bringing possibilities back from the future to the present. Creating a new world relies on us imagining our way out of our current one, entrusting a possible future so much that we can borrow from its reality to inform our present. This is no easy task. This is a matter of faith. It is almost as hard as holding close our value of inherent worth when someone says or does terrible things. We have to be radical, visionary, and disciplined, because when we look around at our world, it can seem unavoidable or somehow necessary that it is like this, that people sleep on cold metal benches next to the art show they would like to attend. But this is not inevitable. Our world does not have to be like this. We can live in a place where everyone has a home, where everyone is fed and nourished and has health care and joy and is loved exactly as they are. But we have to imagine our way there. We have to borrow dreams from the future. Treat them as so real that they inform what becomes possible in the present. Our choices, our decisions, the way we construct the world, who we choose as our leaders, how we allocate our budgets, gets us closer to or farther away from that role. And we all have a part to play. My friend who I referenced earlier, when I first met him 11 years ago, we would walk around the city together, and every unhoused person that he encountered, he would go up and shake their hand and meet their eyes and say, "I hope you have a nice afternoon. I hope you stay warm." Just as a small way of acknowledging our shared humanity. I know that someday we will live in a world that we co-create in which everyone has a home. I know this, and I feel so confident in this dream because I have had the great fortune of meeting and working with our young people, people like Sky and Emily, people like the youth in our congregation, people like the children in our community. People that teach me a moral clarity that reminds me that this dream is not only alive, but probable. That on this great green planet, this small blue boat in a great ocean of sky, which is all of our inherent home, we can live together in peace. A common piece of wisdom, misattributed often to Chief Seattle or Wendell Berry, which genuinely I looked for the source for and could not find. We do not inherit the earth from our ancestors. We borrow it from our children. Before they grow up into a world that desensitizes them to suffering or teaches them one of the most dangerous theologies in the English languages, which is it is what it is. Before that, our children and young people are calling me and calling us to a radical imagining of a world free from injustice, a world of peace, and they are telling us how to get there. So may we go there, borrowing from their dreams to work on them in the present together. May it be so, and amen.